show just for you. We talk film, TV, both old and new. We discover new things, our taste get broader. So here's the show's host in no particular order. He's a little rough, he's a little caustic. Everybody knows him as the one and only toxic. From way up top, you'll find another the start. He forgot to press live when he used StreamYard. Stupenzolicious gonna judge you on your sense of cool by asking you what's your favorite Mexican food. He shouldn't tell secrets, but you know that he can. It's the Hollywood goss from the inside man. One balance who sometimes drinks cappuccino. Everybody thinks he looks like Quentin Tarantino. So come on in and join the Nielsen ratings. It's a show that you've all been anticipating.
Hey, I'm going on camera today. And not just because I've had a haircut, but just because I'm feeling brazen. So it's the Nielsen ratings episode, whatever it is, I've forgotten. We are going to be talking about various films and TV shows that we're going to be recommending you. We tend to stick to stuff that we think is worth your time. We're not going to be talking about Snow White. So we're going to be recommending you things we think you should go and watch. Just want to say hello to people in the chat. We've got Aaron here, Rachel Percy Art. Do check out her art. She's coming on the channel soon to talk about her artwork. That'll be happening before the end of April. Just to let you know, Rachel, glad you're informed. We've got Wormy Spoons here. Beyond Real Talk is here, another man who does interviews. And Lord Toxic, who's not going to be with us today because he's currently stuck down a manhole. Let me bring in my guests. First of all, my regular co-host, the man who is the milestone of Mexican food and gourmet Mexican restaurants. If you want to know where to eat in Texas, he is the guy.
You said LT's stuck in a man's hole? What?
Yeah. Lord Toxic is stuck in a manhole. That's like a drain hole.
A manhole. Okay, I get you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's up to interpretation.
Well, how's it
Do you want
going?
to come on camera today, or are you too sick?
No, I'm fine. Here I am.
All right. Well, we'll have a couple of us.
I have bad hair, and I need to shave, and
yeah.
Well,
you never know. Northern might come on with his suit and tie. So stranger things have happened. Yeah. How you been? How you doing?
Good. All rested. Did do much last week, which was cool, and now I gotta play catch up this week, which is less cool. But yes,
that's cool. Yeah, I had a crazy roller coaster of a weekend. Started off good, then it wasn't so good. Then I had a job scheduling conflict, which I had to make a very, very difficult decision over, which was utterly heartbreaking. Then I went out on Saturday to have a good time. Then I got some bad news right before I went out. That was not so great. And then I changed clubbing venues because one club was oversold and it was impossible to get in any of the rooms. It was impossible to dance. You can't have no dancing. And the whole thing was a whole thing. Anyway, but it ended okay. It was all right. Yeah. Shall we bring in the Northerner?
Yeah.
Great. But before him, the inside man.
Ahoy, hoy.
How you doing?
Yeah, tickety boo.
Good. Welcome, Raylan Givens. I think I saw you on somebody else's channel when I was a guest the other day. Welcome to the Outcast Creative. We also have North of the Wall, Northern English Bastard. How are you, sir?
Hello, you beautiful bastards. And God, it's been a busy week at the moment, but I am doing fine. How are you lot?
I'm
not
all
bad.
right now. I'm all right now. That's a bit of a strange time, but I've had some really good news. I can't share it at the moment, but I've had some great news in the last couple of days. So, watch this space. All right. So we've got a bevy of films and shows, TV shows and stuff to recommend you today. I'm going to let one of my panelists go first, while I quickly busy myself with doing posts that actually tell people the stream is on, because I had a production meeting before this and it went on right until 5 to 10. So I'm very behind on my social media and other duties for the channel. So Stupenzo, why don't you jump in and tell us about your first pick this week?
Well, I made this thumbnail because I didn't really hear anything from you, and I watched I watched this last night. I watched The Monkey, which I had heard was not
I gave you
good.
3 other thumbnails to create though. So
No, yeah.
and I didn't hear anything from you, so I thought he's not in comms right now. I better not add another thumbnail for him
No,
to
it's
do.
fine.
Just going to get upset with me.
I don't know. I heard The Monkey wasn't good, and I watched it, and I liked it a lot. I think I was expecting it to be very weird and funny and goofy. It was like Final Destination, but like
with a monkey.
It was like Final Destination, but with like a real twisted sense of humor, like a lot of cracking jokes and stuff. Also the lead actor, I don't know who this guy was. Handsome man. Something they keep talking about, but he does the 2 roles. He plays twins, so that was cool. And also, Osgood Perkins, it's his follow-up from last year's Long Legs, which everyone was pretty stoked about. I guess it was a little divisive, but
I've not finished watching that movie.
Yeah. To be fair, Long Legs was really weird and creepy. My favorite movie of his is The Blackcoat's Daughter. I know I've talked about it on this show a few times. That one is actually legit creepy. That is a movie that legit freaked me out, even though it's not like, scary per se. It's just like the atmosphere really gets under your skin. This one was really off the rails, like very silly, very like hyper violent. Like you got people getting someone opens a closet door and a shotgun like falls over and shoots them, and they literally like explode. Like it's like that kind of shit happening in this movie.
Right.
But it was just really goofy and funny and violent. Everything you'd like in a good evening horror movie. And it's funny because I don't know if you guys have ever seen the movie Merlin's Shop of Mystical Wonders.
I haven't, but I feel on that title alone, I must watch this.
It was a very popular episode of Mystery Science Theater. It was one of the more recent 90s movies they made fun of. And what was interesting is the movie's terrible, by the way. But
right.
It's a kid's movie about Merlin, and he has a thrift shop where he sells like magical things.
Right.
And it's 2 stories. And one story, there's like a bunch of stuff that was filmed for the movie, including the first story about like he's like a review critic, a restaurant critic or something. He works for the town's Gazette, and he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna write a terrible review for this shop you have, and how it's a big scam and a waste of money." And he's like, "Please let me give you this book of magic spells, and you'll learn that it was all that we're not goofing around here." And of course, he starts playing with the dark arts, and he ends up turning himself into a baby, which is weird. And
this isn't in the Monkey film, just to be clear for people watching.
This is Merlin's Shop of Mystical
Mr. Magoo's Magical Emporium or whatever it was.
But here's
called.
what's interesting is the movie's second story is like a short film, I think also called The Monkey.
Right.
And it's pretty much the same story, the same plot device, where it's like, except instead of a monkey that plays a little drum, it's a little toy monkey that has little cymbals. And anytime he hits the cymbals, someone dies, and this is a kid's story, by the way, but it's really twisted. The second story,
just for the benefit of those watching.
But in the 70s, Monkey, it's like the kid's goldfish dies, then the kid's dog dies, and then it's like it gets it's not as gratuitous as this movie was, The Monkey. In this one, it's like, a lot of people die from this monkey. And it's pretty twisted. Also, there's a great cameo from Osgood Perkins is in it briefly. And also so is Adam Scott. I don't know. It was a fun time. I would say I'd give it a good 6 or 7 out of 10. It wasn't like a perfect movie, but probably has some rewatchability factor just on the death scenes alone. And it's funny because I know they just released a Final Destination trailer for the new one, Final Destination Bloodlines, and it looks all right. It's one of those franchises where, people just like to see these weird crazy Rube Goldberg machines of death, where a little air conditioner malfunctions and that somehow causes some woman to get electrocuted to death in a pool. Like that stuff's great. It's always fun when death is always around the corner at any moment's notice. And this movie did not shy away from the viscera and the gore. It was very funny though. The mother, the twins' mother, I can't remember who played her. Was it She-Hulk? It looked like She-Hulk.
I have never seen She-Hulk, I'm afraid, so can't.
But she was hilarious. She was a great actress. Not a great actress, but she had some great lines. Let me actually look this up. Was it She-Hulk? I'm just realizing that right now. It was She-Hulk. She-Hulk was the kid's mom, and she was actually pretty fun. She was Tatiana Maslany. Huh. I'll be damned. I didn't even put that together until right now.
Did she? I hope she didn't do the arse dance in the monkey film.
She's not a bad looking. I wouldn't mind her.
No. I mean, but I've still got traumas from seeing that in the She-Hulk trailer. So
yeah, I mean, it wasn't really that. It wasn't the fact that She-Hulk is twerking is the terrible thing. It's the fact that like we're celebrating that She-Hulk is like a powerful, independent woman while she's twerking. It should be like, hey, She-Hulk, She-Hulk's supposed to be hot, she's supposed to be wearing like bikinis and shit and, rocking her body. And, her twerking gratuitously that could have been awesome, It
could have been awesome if it had a great script.
Slow motion, green butt, like jiggling with like champagne coming all over, I gotta watch the
I feel we're going down a She-Hulk rabbit hole, so to speak.
The comics are actually very funny, though. That's the thing.
She's hilarious. She's hyper confident and super sexualized and all that stuff. And then when she's a human, she's very wormy and nerdy and bottled up and all that.
Anyway, going back to the monkey. So you're rating out of 10. Sorry, say that again.
I'd say a 7 or so. I'd recommend it. Definitely a hard recommend. Might not be for everybody. And I think you should go into it knowing that this is not a serious, like scary movie. This is a very comical, this is a dark comedy that's just very centered around violence and death. And it's like Napoleon Dynamite vibes almost, like how silly it is. So
who else has anyone else on the panel seen it?
No.
Okay.
There's old Osgood right there. Also, Osgood Perkins. Yeah, I barely realized this last year, but he is the son of Anthony Perkins.
Elijah Wood's in the film as well.
He's in a little brief cameo role. Yeah,
I'm pretty sure he did a big movie. I think there were 3 of them. I can't recall the name now.
The Lord of the Rings movies. Yeah,
no,
those are big.
Of course I know what they are. I like Theo James as an actor. I think he's a contender for James Bond.
Yeah, I think he could be good.
Yeah,
he looks really miscast as an Ed. Come on, I mean, he's got a better jawline than me. He doesn't work.
Oh yeah, I don't know.
Everyone's got a better jawline than you, dude.
Yeah, he's got a good.
Look at my chin.
Yeah, a nice deep voice, and I don't know who is this guy. I haven't seen him at all.
Yeah, he's in the In-Betweeners movie as well. He plays like the arsehole who gets
okay.
And he's in that. He's in that sort of, Guy Ritchie posh family gangster thing.
Yeah, he's in The Gentleman.
Okay, yeah,
Gentleman. Thank you.
So he's great because he plays like the nerdy kind of like kind of bumbling brother, but he also plays like the crazy asshole brother as well. So he's pretty good.
Right.
Yeah, I can sort of see him playing that because he kind of plays an asshole in the In-Betweeners movie anyway, very convincingly.
Yeah, but like I said, I had a lot of people that saw it, and I think the way it was marketed and what they were expecting, I think they were very disappointed by that, and I could see how you would walk out of that movie thinking it was very stupid. It is a little stupid. I mean, obviously, it's about a monkey doll that kills people, teleports and things. So I mean, it's very strange. But it's also very cynical and it's very dark and twisted. But I don't know. He had some laughs in me. He got some laughs out of me. So
Aaron Charman likes the monkey, says it was a good laugh.
Right.
Curtis Warwick is in the chat. I will see you on the dance floor, brother, at Beach on the 4th of April, Ministry of Sound. Brian Valco. Theo James seems an odd casting pick for this lowly discount store clerk who can't date to save his life. I agree, that's total miscasting, but he sounds like he did a good job on the acting front, at least in the Can't Stop Doing the Monkey. So, and good to see Axel's Abode in the chat. Got a few of the regulars in here. Saw this a few weeks ago. It was a bit of fun. Great. If you guys want to give it a rating out of 10, this Grumpy Curmudgeon only gives it 3 out of 10. Warning, second Grumpy Curmudgeon also inbound. Let's see what other people think. If you've seen the monkey, pop your ratings out of 10 in the chat now. Let's see what other people think about it. Okay, we're going to move on. Inside Man, what's your first pick today?
My first pick is surprise, surprise. It's an Italian giallo. It's one of Umberto Lenzi's great giallo movies, Eyeball, which is quite the movie. So
yeah, I remember seeing this in the video store.
Yeah, it's a group of American tourists that are on holiday, on a coach holiday.
And they all have a lovely time, and then they go home. The end.
Yeah. And of course, they're kind of being killed off one by one and having their eyes gouged out by this mysterious killer that's on board. But what's quite interesting about this one is that, they get to their first stop. A young girl has her eyes gouged out, or eye gouged out, and she's murdered. The police obviously are called in. And then the rest of the coach kind of carry on with their journey. They get to the next destination, next hotel. Somebody else gets killed. The police get called in, and they move on to their next destination. It's quite funny. It's very very much in the.
At what point do the police cotton on that maybe this coach is being targeted?
I think it's after the fourth murder,
right?
Where they kind of say, one of you guys is responsible. And,
dubbed in dodgy English, no doubt.
Yeah, it was. It's quite an outrageous film, but I do like it. It's got its charm. It's very much in the real tradition of what giallo is.
For those readers under the age of 40 who don't have a concept of what you're talking about, please explain.
Okay, so a giallo movie is they're loosely based on a series of books that were published in Italy from the 20s to the 50s. And the reason they're called giallo is they had yellow covers. And of course, yellow is Italian for yellow. So they had like these yellow spines and everything. And they're very much in the vein of sort of Edgar Wallace and Dashiell Hammett and Agatha Christie, that kind of thing. So they're kind of whodunits, but with more of an Italian gore edge to them. But they're very good. I mean, they are an acquired taste, but they're really worth getting into. Some of them are absolute classics, like The Bird with the Crystal Plumage and Deep Red.
And you can also see the influence on a lot of directors that would come later, like people like John Carpenter and of course more modern horror directors than that. A lot of them have all taken stuff from these films.
Absolutely.
Curmudgeon 2 in the chat says all foreign films are obscure. So thanks for that contribution. Excellent.
But yeah, I mean, you're right. I mean, Quentin Tarantino obviously is so heavily influenced by the giallo movies, or gialli, which is the plural. Quentin Tarantino, Eli Roth, Robert Rodriguez, as you say, John Carpenter. But I actually think,
but more so the later guys that you mentioned, really, because Carpenter was already making films at this stage.
I think the one person, if there's one person upon whom these have been the biggest influence, I would say undoubtedly would be Charles Band.
And in fact, he made a horror film that had a cover really similar to this. I can't remember the name.
Yeah, he did. TerrorVision, I think it was.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
But he and the reason that they are heavily influenced, his movies are heavily influenced by the gialli, is because he grew up in Italy. He grew up in Rome, and he spent an awful lot of time on the sets at Cinecittà and on locations in and around Rome, with his father, who was a very well-known and respected first assistant director and director, Albert Band.
This photograph is really funny because clearly the guy in the middle is further back in the room, but it almost looks like that failed Jerry Anderson show about the vicar who miniaturizes himself.
Yeah.
And he's stuck between. It's like an episode of Land of the Giants with someone stuck between two big humans.
Yeah.
What's going on there?
Yeah.
So what would you give this out of 10?
I mean, I'd give this a 7. It's not everybody's cup of tea, but it certainly is mine. It's not the best Gialli, but it's probably a good soft introduction into the subgenre. But I do love the music in this.
There seems to be lots of ladies in this clad in lingerie and so on.
There really are some quite lovely ladies actually in this.
That's why you're watching most of the time, isn't it? Because of the lovely ladies.
Because I'm a dirty old man. That's predominantly why. And of course, there is in many of these movies, these Gialli and the Poliziotteschi, there's ample amount of boobage in them, which is also a big bonus for watching them.
Blue Collar Loser, who's a member of the Outcast Creative and occasionally a member of this panel, says The Monkey was a bad film that made me laugh, so I knew Enzo would like it.
Yeah. It wasn't a good movie by any regards. It was silly.
You still gave it a 7. I think a 7 is a soft recommendation.
Oh, it's a hard recommend. I definitely think you should.
A hard recommend.
You might hate it, but I loved it.
Completely aroused recommend.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just researching something connected to the film that's just been mentioned by the Inside Man. While I'm doing that, Northern Beastard, what do you have for us to look at?
David Brent's Life on the Road, which is
the spin-off movie of The Office,
the original UK Office. And I think it's run about 10 years after the Christmas special of The Office, where David Brent is now working at a tampon sales company, but he's still trying to make it as a rock star, despite the fact he is way past it and way in over his head. And now he's got this band with him who are kind of cares to be his backing band, and they really wish they were somewhere else. And
they're basically paid by him.
Yeah, he's getting paid. He's paying them out of his own pocket so they can go on.
He's paying everything. To be honest, he started off as a manager to help this rapper, but then he starts taking over, trying to make it about him, and it becomes very funny. So the rapper becomes basically the supporting act. And he's starting to wish, what the hell have I got myself into? Everyone around him is thinking, what the hell have we got ourselves into with this guy?
Did you see the full video? Because it does exist for the film Equality Street.
Yes, I have.
The song Equality Street.
Yeah.
I'd love to show that, but I think we'd probably get taken off.
Yeah, and he's putting on this really terrible folks Jamaican accent, and the look on his face when he sees the two skinheads kissing it's priceless.
That's the bit I remember. And it's sort of like, that's what the song's about. But then that's in the video, and he's going. I think doesn't he mouth for fuck's sake or something?
The thing with David Brent, he's kind of a terrible guy, but at the same time, you do feel sorry for him. He's very narcissistic. He's very arrogant. He's very delusional. But at the same time, he's not very harmful. He's not totally malicious. He's just kind of caught up in his own selfishness a little bit. And he does kind of redeem himself a little bit. I love that bit at the end where he goes, I don't need to be a rock star, but I couldn't do it without trying. And he does sort of like cut out the bullshit and become real when he talks about his depression and his suicide.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
I tend to think that this is, he has actually drawn an awful lot from his actual time when he was in the music business, as well as the obvious influences of Spinal Tap. I think obviously he's a huge fan of This Is Spinal Tap.
Yeah, and he does want to be the life of the party as well. He's just a guy who just wants to be loved. He wants to. He wants to feel he can make people be happy as well. But it doesn't always work with most people. But you do get the few who do actually see his intentions and actually do like him for it.
Mm.
Yeah, especially from some of his workmates who actually.
I mean, there's quite a even though it's a comedy, there's quite a sort of painful
it is
message in it. Super Collar says my phone won't let me send super chats, so here's a sticker, mate. I accept checks, so if you want to pop $500 in the post, that's fine, mate. Just I accept.
Just
checks.
make sure you get the date right.
Yeah,
it won't be £500 though when that checks though. It won't be £500. It'll be a little bit less than that in pounds.
Brian Valco says Ricky Gervais was originally called Ricky Jarvis. Is that true? I don't know.
But wanted to be more pretentious.
I don't know.
I always pronounce it as Jarvis. Ricky Jarvis, Ricky Gervais, I guess is what I found out it
Dan
was.
Castanella actually deliberately mispronounced it at an award show just for a laugh, and he goes, you have the full Monty Python and Ricky Jarvis in his Homer Simpson voice. It's a very funny speech where he misinterprets the way we use British lingo. Like in England, you say, "Do you want a lift in my lorry?" While we would say, "Would you like an elevator in your truck?" Like that.
And I'm laughing as much as I found that funny.
Yeah, I mean, I like.
He delivers it better though. He does. It's a great delivery. I can't get his delivery down.
Well, I was talking about. Yeah, we watched Spinal Tap. Talked about Spinal Tap on Luke's channel the other day, and I was bringing up David Brent, Life on the Road, and it is peak cringe comedy. Like it is painful.
Very painful to watch in places.
You just if you didn't know it was scripted, it'd probably make you sick to your stomach how awful it is. You know?
And plus, it is a good partnership as well because I forgot the actor's name who plays the rapper, but he does generally have some passion. He's got some fire in him. He's definitely got meaning.
I think he's a real rapper, isn't he, Ben Bailey Smith?
Yeah, he is. Yeah, and the difference between him is David Brent is kind of being a bit of a poser as well. You know, he's like doing songs about the native Indians being slaughtered to make himself look a bit virtuous, but it's all fake, isn't it? While with the rapper, it's genuine.
Yeah.
I think by him doing that, I think it's quite an expose, if you like, of how things tend to work. Having some everyone pretending to have some kind of angle and some kind of as you say, some kind of virtue within the lyrics of their songs.
Yeah, and Wormy Spoons has got this bang to right. Ricky Gervais has a knack for playing bell ends. You just can't help liking. Yeah, because the kind of most of these characters that are unlikable are kind of like very cathartic avatars for our rage on society in a way. Because that's what comedy is. It's basically a way of playing on the misery we have to go through in life.
I think the one thing that I didn't like about this movie was his character had a fantastic. What was great about The Office was you had that fantastic arc in The Office, where actually by the end of it, he had some redeeming qualities, and he redeemed himself when he told Finch to fuck off.
Yeah,
that's
he did.
When he redeems himself. That's when he's changed. And then I love it when he meets that girl on that date, but she has to come to the office party, and he's kind of a bit discombobulated, and he's being a bit negative about himself, and she's so positive.
Yeah,
everything he throws out, she actually turns it into a positive, and it impacts him. And you think that it's set up so that they're going to see each other again. And I felt it was a missed opportunity not to have her in that movie, even if it was at the beginning with them breaking up. Or I think he should have been seeing her, and their relationship was under pressure because he's going on the road to do this one last stab at having his youth. But they set that up so beautifully, and I don't think that actress has gone on to do big things, but I thought she was really good in that.
She was very good.
Yeah, she had a very nice air about her as well. You could it made sense for someone like her to actually see David Brent as a human and not some annoyance like most.
Can
of the
somebody look her up on IMDb and find out who she is? Let's give her a shout out in a sec.
It's funny you mentioned that scene. I think one of the funniest things about that scene where he's waiting outside Wernham Hog, and the fat girl turns up, and he turns around and he goes, "Oh, for fuck's sake."
Yeah,
It's hilarious. And she comes up to her and she says, "Oh, is Monkey Harris in there?" He's going, "Oh, yeah."
I was waiting for a date, and I was worried you was it.
Yeah.
He just can't help himself. There's things you just don't need to say out loud, but he says it out loud. That's what makes it so funny.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
Yeah, Nona's doing a lance. That. Yeah, I mean, I really loved the series. I didn't love this movie. I thought it was funny in places, but mostly mediocre. I actually went with my ex to see it. She wasn't massively impressed with it either. I can't give it more than a 6 out of 10. Northern, what's your score?
I still give it maybe an 8 or a 9 out of 10 because there is something genuine there as well, and it's not harmful. I think David Brent will redeem himself, but he still is he is still David Brent, though. He is.
No, I mean, he's never going to be non-cringe completely.
I know, he's still going to have his moments, but he's still... it's hard to describe, though, and honestly, the words escape me, so yeah, we'll move on.
Dude, I would give this like a 9 out of 10, just how... I think it's funnier than The Office. I don't know. It's like...
I think that's because you're in a band.
Yeah, that's the other thing. This is very painful to watch as a musician, a touring musician. It is it's up there with Spinal Tap, I think, when you're talking about rockumentaries, or rock mockumentaries, I guess.
Sandy Hendricks is the actress's name.
It's funny. It's a very funny movie and stupid, but and yeah, I think Curb Your Enthusiasm. Yeah, Curb Your Enthusiasm is hilarious because it's Larry David having all his like ridiculous rich people problems, that no normal person relates to.
I kind of agree with him as well. I've only seen the first series, but you do kind of agree with Larry David a bit, even though he probably is a bit of a sociopath.
No, he picks on things that annoy most people, and then he basically vocalizes them a lot more loudly and a lot more rudely. That's the beauty of it.
He's very entitled.
Yeah, because I've just finished.
I really like that show. I actually need to do a special on Curb Your Enthusiasm at some point.
Because I've just finished watching Seinfeld as well, and yet these characters are terrible people, and they kind of bring it on themselves.
All right, sorry, Inside Man, your time is up. The hourglass of Sand of Doom has run out, so we'll move on. Thank you for that recommendation. I think that's everybody except for me. So I'll do my first recommendation of the week. Now, this one's going to surprise you guys because it surprised me as well. Sometimes you click on Netflix and it tells you the #1 film that's trending, and you look at it and you think, "Oh, that's going to be crap." But I just want something to fall asleep to. I'm going to whack this on. I've had a bit of a stressful day, so I put on the latest movie from Jennifer Lawrence, No Hard Feelings.
Yeah, this movie was funny as hell.
Yeah, well, listen, hey, this is my pick, so let me talk about it first. But you're right, it was. I mean, I have to say, especially the first hour, this has got a really fun script. The basic plot, without giving away any big spoilers, stuff that's all kind of covered in the first 10 minutes, is you got this young kid who is socially awkward. He almost never comes out of his room. He's got into a top-level university, one of the American Ivy League schools. Stupenzolicious probably remembers which one. I think it's a Harvard or one of those. And his parents, very well-to-do parents, they own a massive house. They put an advert in a paper, basically advertising for a woman to basically turn him into a man, but not just a sex date. They kind of want her to do a kind of a Pretty Woman kind of thing, hang out with him, socialize with him, teach him the ways of the world, but also deflower him. So they are essentially expecting a professional to turn up. Meanwhile, Jennifer Lawrence's character, and it's quite a different character for her, which is what I liked about it, is this rather kind of brazen girl who's not short on confidence. She's living in what was her parental home alone. She's struggling with the mortgage, which hasn't been paid off. She needs a car for her job. And basically the advert in the paper says, in exchange for doing this for our son, we will give you a brand new, I forget the type of the car. Do you remember the type of car? Subaru or something like that?
No, I need to rewatch it actually.
Yeah, I mean, so she goes for the interview. She goes to present herself, and they are actually expecting some sort of hooker to apply. And because she's kind of not a hooker and she's endearing and says some of the right things, they hire her. And but the twist is that it's got to be kept secret from the son. The son mustn't find out. They have to meet under casual circumstances. And the son volunteers at a dog shelter once a week. So she basically turns up at this dog shelter, like dressed up to the nines, and says she wants to buy a dog. And that's kind of how they meet.
She wants puppies.
Yeah. And then they go out on dates, like this scene here. And I mean, she's sort of saying and doing all the right things. And of course, the guy is actually really sweet, and he wants his first time to be really special, and he wants to be ready. This is when she turns up at the dog shelter. Yeah, this movie, I don't want to say any more because I don't want to give too much away. I mean, it's a lot of fun. Lord Toxic gives it a non-curmudgeon-y 8 out of 10. Yeah, I mean, I'd give it that. I mean, it is what it is. It's for a romantic comedy, you just want a fun comedy popcorn film. This is exactly that. It's in the realms of the Pretty Woman kind of movie. The supporting cast are all pretty good as well. I didn't recognize Matthew Broderick as the dad at first. They've kind of given him long hair and he looks all weird. There is a kind of a weird twist that the kid talks about at one point. I don't want to give it away. And then I sort of listened to it, and then I was like, did I hear that right? And I rewinded the scene, and I did hear it correctly. And I thought, damn, that's really dark. And then the movie never touches on it again, which was odd.
Yeah, it's pretty standard with the Judd Apatow dramedies, where the third act kind of dives off the comedy a bit and gets more serious. But
out these films, don't they? These Judd Apatow comedies, they always feel like they're going on a bit too long. But I do like the early ones, though.
Yeah,
I mean, this is one of the best, I would say.
What I thought about this movie, and I know we talked about it when it came out, was that what I appreciated about it was it didn't feel like overly improv. It felt like it was actually scripted, like scripted jokes.
It felt very scripted. It felt like it had a very
jokes
solid
always
script.
land better than this modern day, like just be funny in front of the camera and we'll record 15 hours of one little scene and then we'll get the best joke and we'll just rinse and repeat so we have like, a 90-minute movie. We've got like, 100 hours of footage of just actors just trying to be funny. I hate that.
Hey, Ned, when am I coming on your horror stream? Let me know. Sorry, Enzo, carry on.
It's I definitely prefer scripted comedy with setups and payoffs and all that stuff and punchlines. It was legit. And also, full frontal Jennifer. That was always cool.
Ooh.
I've only seen that moment, and I will give that a 69 out of 10.
That took me by surprise, and I did wonder if it had been CGI'd a bit. I wondered if they'd kind of put like a body.
Her actual nudes leaked all over the internet, so I don't think she cares anymore.
No.
Plus, she said that stupid shit as well. She said that really stupid stuff about her being the first ever thing. So she's got to get the appeal back, doesn't she?
Yeah. I have to say that she gave off, and I think this is deliberate. In the performance, there's a very different energy from Lawrence here in this character.
Yeah.
And I feel that's very, very deliberate. And look, everybody is allowed to make mistakes, and especially when you get propelled very fast, very quickly, which she did straight out of Hunger Games, pretty much to the A-list.
And that's a shame because when you see those early interviews with her, she seems like a good laugh. She seems very fun. She's very self-aware and not conventional.
Yeah, and then after that whole "let's all get in the photograph at the Oscars" moment, everybody that was in that photograph pretty much became insufferable. You know, the new crop that were there, like Bradley and Nyong'o and Lawrence.
It kind of looks like the first thing you see when you wake up on Epstein Island. So
Yeah.
anyway,
yeah, I'll give this an 8 out of 10. Enzo, what would you give it?
Yeah, same. 8 out of 10.
It is #1 on Netflix. Listen, if you want something to watch with your partner, your girlfriend, etc., you want a date night movie, this is a great choice. This is a good. It's fun. It's, you know, you can watch it while you're making a coffee. You're not going to miss anything. But I mean, I would actually say do watch it properly because it is really good. But it does have a really dark moment that I will talk about after the stream when we finish. I want to make sure I got that right. So Enzo, do hang around for 5 minutes at least. All right, we'll move on. I've got another one to talk about that the Inside Man and I have both watched. Some we've watched. I think we're both on episode 3.
Yeah.
So this is a new BBC drama series that just dropped on BBC iPlayer. I think there are 8 parts altogether. Each part is just under an hour, starring Sean Bean. And you can put odds on if he survives to the end of the series or not. I'd recommend placing your bets carefully.
Yeah.
But he is the head of a Liverpool family that is a criminal family, has a drug empire. They have a very nice house in Spain. This is where this section is shot. And of course, they have various properties and businesses in Liverpool. He has kind of a right-hand man. He has a son, and this is the son. One of my friends is in the cast, who used to stay over here all the time when he used to come down for auditions. And you would know him, Gary, because he played McGrath in Band of Brothers.
Oh, right. Okay.
Stephen Walters with the bazooka. Yeah, because he's covered in facial hair in this show, but I'm sure there'll be a still of him. So basically, the first episode starts off with a big drug shipment of heroin coming in from the Mediterranean, which has been set up by a particular family that they've gone to meet. There's Stephen Walters, who played McGrath, now hidden under his beard. His character is up to something devious. That's kind of covered in the first episode, so it's a bit of a spoiler, but you're going to see it very, very early on. And he has the shipment deliberately waylaid and then stolen. He's acting under the orders of somebody else. So everything in this family suddenly goes rotten, and it all kind of descends into chaos and accusation. And you know, when I watched the first episode, I was thinking, because there was a great show called Liverpool One that they did a series of that had also Stephen was in, with Mark Womack and Samantha Janus, who then became Samantha Womack, who's no longer Samantha Womack. And that was a really good show, and it set up a really good story. And then they only did one season, and it was all this great setup, but there was no payoff. And I was thinking, this starts off feeling a bit like that, but because they have part of the story in Spain, it feels a bit bigger. It feels a bit more epic. It's really nicely shot. The lead actor, who I just saw in something else, this guy on the right, he's really good. I have to say, he's got a terrifying presence, and I found him terrifying in the other thing of his that I saw him in, which I'll look up in just a second. I've seen, I think I'm also on episode 3. Inside Man, while I check out the credits, give us your views.
Well, I mean, I'm not really a fan of anything that the BBC has been spewing out over the last sort of 10 to 15 plus years, actually. And I just wasn't really, I thought, I'm kind of not going to be feeling this. But when I actually got to watch it, I thought, hang on a minute, this is the kind of thing that the BBC used to do, that they used to do very, very well.
Yeah,
and it seems to be a little bit of a return to form. I hope that this is something that they're all going to be taking note of, because I could assume that this is actually going to be one of their big success shows.
I mean, it's currently got an 8.5 rating on IMDb, so has a fantastic cast, including several relative unknowns who are really good. But James Nelson Joyce is the guy on the screen now.
Brilliant.
Sorry, carry on. I'm just going to look
I mean,
up what I saw him in.
I mean, it starts off, I thought, this is just going to be some kind of family drama. I never looked into this. When you suggested it, I never took a single glance at anything, any material about it. And as it starts, I thought it was some kind of family drama, and then, of course, very, very rapidly, we get real sort of into the nitty gritty of everything. And it's got quite the bite, I think, this show. It really does. It's it surprised me. It didn't surprise me. It shocked me how good this was. Sean Bean is utterly outstanding in this.
Yeah, he is good.
It's really one of his best performances, and it's an incredibly frightening presence as Ronnie. Really,
he's basically playing the dad, and he's very powerful. Canadian Spider-Man, welcome, buddy. Haven't seen you in the chat lately. Tacos to full power, indeed. Always tacos when Stupenzo's here. James Nelson Joyce has also been in 1,000 Blows, which is currently on Disney. Not a bad show, not great, but not bad. He was in Reputation, which was very good. He was in Bird, which I still haven't seen. He was in The Trap, which was okay. He's done a couple of shorts. He was also in A Town Called Malice. Jason Flemyng was also in that. I remember him in that. He was also in the short TV series The Gold, based on the Brinksmat robbery. I didn't think that series was as good as it could have been, but it wasn't bad. And he was also in that. He's also done 2 episodes of The Responder. Quite a working solidly pretty much since 2013. Done episodes of Shameless, Casualty, Vera, Mount Pleasant. And he was James Yates in Little Boy Blue. That's right. I think that's the first thing I saw him in, which is the true story of the little lad that was killed in Liverpool, when those 2 rival gangs were firing at each other, and it was that whole big police investigation, and Sean Mercer was like a 15-year-old kid was the murderer. He's a powerful presence, this actor.
Standing leading man, isn't he? It really is.
Quite intimidating. He's got a really gritty look. I'm not so familiar with this guy either, who plays the son of Sean Bean. I'll check out who he is. He's not bad either. He's not
very,
bad.
very good. I mean, he's very, very menacing. There's a kind of a volatility about his character and the way he plays him. I love the relationship between Michael and Diana. That I think it's really quite a touching little relationship that they have. Obviously, because they're trying for children and going for IVF and everything.
Yeah.
And I thought she's
banging one off, and he's on the phone to her.
But she was very good. I think she's a very sweet girl, actually. I really, really quite the lovely actress.
That's
I really like her.
Hannah Onslow, who plays
Hannah Onslow. That's right.
Diana Williams, and again, I think she's got that's her on the right in this shot. I think she's got a pretty good career ahead of her.
Yeah, I really, really rate her. I think she's very, very good. But it surprised me so much. I cannot tell you how much this surprised me, because this, like I said before, this is exactly what the BBC used to do when they used to make good drama. And that is without messaging, without any kind of, and the moral to the story is arc. There's no, it's just a story. This is a story, and it's a very, very good story.
This guy, by the way, is played by actor James McMullen. He was also in Little Boy Blue, played the role of Dean Kelly. He was in Le Mans '66. He's done episodes of Time, Screw, did a movie called Deadshot, 6 episodes of Hijack, which I don't think I saw that. It was heavily recommended to me. I think it was with Idris Elba, but I never watched it in the end.
Deadshot, is that the one that's set in Northern Ireland about the guy's pregnant wife that gets killed?
Yeah,
And,
retired Irish paramilitary witnesses a
yeah.
fatal shooting of a pregnant wife by
Yeah.
an SAS officer. After outwitting the SAS, now wounded and presumed dead, he escapes, taking his revenge. Yeah, it's kind of like, it's a bit like a set in Northern Ireland with a bit of Rambo. I've actually seen it, you know. I'm watching the trailer and I'm like, yeah, I've seen this. I've seen that. That was quite a good movie. That it was all right. Deadshot was quite a good little indie movie. That
Sky Atlantic original, I think.
Yeah, Colin Morgan played one of the leads in it, and Ami Amin played the black soldier, who's kind of out of his depth, and good little film that. So you're halfway through episode 3. What are you giving this out of 10 so far?
I mean, I got to be honest with you. I'm actually going to score each of the episodes. Right,
go for it.
Episode 1, absolute 10 out of 10, no question. Episode 2, 10 out of 10, no question. I'm on episode 3, and so far the needle's really edging towards 10 already, and I'm halfway through episode 3. I think it's an absolutely outstanding piece of BBC drama.
Well, I think
they've decided to come back round to this kind of thing.
Let's come back to it. I think we might do a chew the fat on this pretty soon.
Oh, I'd love to.
Okay, well, I might set that up for Sunday then. Enzo, can you add that to the list of 7 thumbnails?
Sure.
This City Is Ours is available on BBC iPlayer or my hearties elsewhere. Definitely recommend it. I would give it 9 out of 10 overall from what I've seen so far. Solid acting, good script. Love the way it's shot. Like the fact that it's all set in Liverpool. I think if it was all set in Liverpool, it wouldn't quite have the epic international feel that it needs to go against other shows of a similar caliber. It needs that polish, it needs to feel bigger. We can't just be making these stories that feel small. I love the fact that they've got this amazing villa in Spain, and
and it's beautiful, isn't it?
I mean, I bet that shoot was terrible, sitting around the pool all day.
Must have been a real grind.
Terrible experience for the actors.
It's kind of like the ideal place for criminals to lie low after robbing a bank in England, isn't it? So.
It is. But there is one major thing that this has in its favour, and it's not just the script, the dialogue, the acting, the way it's shot, and the locations and everything. It's not just that. The one major thing for me that it has in its favour is this isn't Cockneys. Thank God.
No.
I'm so sick of Cockney gangster stuff. I'm so sick and tired of it.
It wouldn't have been as good if it was Cockneys, because we definitely would have felt like Long Good Friday meets Sexy Beast, and we've kind of seen it before. But we tend to have a lot of these, the kind of Danny Dyer type stuff, and this is nothing against him. He's a jobbing actor. He's a lovely guy, actually.
But there's none of these really over the top characters. They're not over the top. They're not. They're not. They're not that kind of sort of Mockney Cockney type characters, which I'm so I've got kind of Cockney fatigue, to be honest with you, in all of these kinds of movies, and that's one of the major things that it has in its favour. And it's good, solid, up to north kind of salt of the earth northern people, and that's really, for me, that's its absolute bonus.
You've actually reminded me of something. Netflix actually have a Snatch spin-off, something like that, and it looks really
that's right.
Gal Boss like. It looks really Gal Boss like. It does.
What's it called?
It's called Snatch. It's actually called Snatch. I think it's like a TV version of it, but they're trying to Gal Boss it. Netflix.
Oh, it's the one with Ginger Kid from Harry Potter in, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. As it looks cringe. I don't know if I want to watch it.
I mean, I don't think it was. It's not that recent. I think it was made in back 2018.
Was it? It's the first time I've seen it pop up on the feed.
Yeah, I mean, check it on IMDb. Have a quick look now. Yeah. But I think you'll find it was made back in 2018.
Can I just say one final thing
Yes,
about
please
listening
do.
to yours now, and that is that the female characters in this, and I'm glad that Northern actually mentioned female characters and girl bosses and that
Mm.
kind of thing. The female characters in this, they're so well written, and
They
they're
are.
very, very strong women. All of them have a real strength to them that is utterly believable. You know, they're
Yeah, because
not.
they're believable female characters in that world, but they're also not just wimps or just
Yeah, they're
you
not
know
pushovers. None of
bimbos.
the women are pushovers.
No.
They will have an edge because they know exactly the world in which their partners and husbands are moving. They know that world. They're very familiar with that world, and there's also a kind of a sort of a matter of factness when I'm not going to say what happens, but there are certain things, a couple of things that have happened with a couple of the characters, and there's an acceptance, although there is a shock, an initial shock, but there is an acceptance of what happened to these characters, and their reactions feel very much in that world.
Yeah.
You know, they accept because they know that their husbands and spouses are moving within that world. I think it's great. I absolutely love this show. I really love it.
Yeah, that whole kind of he's gone to whatever the name of that town was.
Yeah.
And that whole thing is really quite chilling.
Yeah.
And it's obvious that it almost feels like that phrase has been used before.
Yeah.
So it's no, great stuff. I really like this show. I haven't seen it all yet, but I really recommend it. I don't think anybody else has seen it, but if you have, chip in now.
But it's a brilliant recommendation. It really is an absolutely brilliant recommendation, and that's 2 on the bounce you've given me. So
yeah, well, I do like occasionally recommending stuff that I think you're going to like, as well as stuff that I think you're going to like that you don't like. So pleased to hit one on the head for a change.
Yeah.
I have to say, when I said to you watch it, I hadn't even started watching it. I was just about to put on the first episode, but I thought it looked interesting enough that we should give it a go. And I thought, well, that's why I said just watch the first episode. And if it's and I watched the first episode and I thought this definitely feels cut above.
Yeah.
And it doesn't. The other thing as well is I didn't feel like there was any box ticking in it.
No, none at all.
Yeah.
None whatsoever.
Yeah, that was great. There was no box ticking it from what I could see, and I mean it was all the better for it really.
Yeah,
absolutely. It just felt like a very believable world.
Yeah,
all the characters felt very believable. Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah,
and and you've got different types of characters and people from different places. Not everyone's a Scouser and so on. But yeah, it's great show. That comes with a strong recommendation from the Nielsen Ratings team at the Outcast Creative. Shall we move on? I think we should. Fabulous. Okay, so those were the 2 that I had lines to talk about today. I know Enzo always has a minimum of about 5 films, so do you want to?
Yeah. I got 2 more that I did watch that I recommend both. I did watch Last Breath. Me and Mom watched that. And yeah, it was good. It's a very unbelievable true story. It's pretty crazy. And unlike Adolescence, there's some race swapping going on in the cast, and it's not too offensive. Yeah, I mean, it's like one guy who's like vaguely ethnic looking in real life, and they just straight up just made him a Chinese guy, which is whatever. It would be weird if you were that guy. They made you Shang-Chi.
Like
yeah, they're like, I'm like, do I really look that Asian? But other than that, it was a good movie.
Show. What they doing?
Because it is based on a true story, isn't it? But these people that get stuck in a diving bell.
I don't want to spoil much. All I'll say is you got these guys who they're deep sea underwater cable repair guys, They repair like all sorts of underwater cables and things, and they get paid a lot of money. It's a very dangerous job. And there's 3 characters. You got Woody Harrelson, you got the white guy, and you got the Asian guy. Woody Harrelson's the guy who mans the little submersible they're in.
Hang on a second. Is Woody Harrelson not also a white guy? I like the way you said
Right.
you got Woody Harrelson and then you got a white guy and an Asian guy.
Yeah,
Is he not?
Yeah,
Is
Finn
he in
Cole,
a category all of his own?
Finn Cole is, I think he's English or Irish or something. And then,
He is. He was in
he's
Peaky
Irish.
Blinders.
Yeah, okay. So he's great. And you think Finn Cole's going to be the main character because he's the guy that they go underwater. They're being towed under a big boat, and there's a big storm and the boat is drifting, and that's a big problem. And Finn Cole, his cable snaps and he gets left behind at the bottom of the ocean. And the whole movie is like rescue this guy. And you think Finn Cole's going to be the main character. Well, really, it's Shang-Chi and Woody Harrelson are kind of the mains.
Yeah, because is he actually good in this movie?
Yeah, he's good. He's good.
Shall we find out the actor's name as
Simu
Simu
Lin or
Liu.
something? Yeah, something like that. Who cares? The point is, what's crazy is they leave him when the guy's cable snap and he's left at the bottom of the ocean with no lights. He's got no oxygen. He's running on reserve oxygen in his helmet. He has 10 minutes of air, and this is the halfway point of the movie. So you're like, how the hell are they going to get out of this sticky situation? And it's pretty crazy. So definitely worth a watch just in terms of, I don't know if this is going to have like a lot of rewatchability factors, so rewatchability, but it's one of those movies that's, it's a fun little tight little thriller, keeps you on the edge of your seat. And I'm realizing there's like a box artifact on the thumbnail I sent you. There's like a little square that's going around the monkey. Ew. I normally get rid of that. You see those little lines? Ugh, sorry. But I guess the other movie I watched that was pretty funny. It was a little cliche, kind of like the monkey. It was very violent and very silly. But it wasn't bad. It was Novocaine. I saw Novocaine, and that was cool. It was what's his name? Quaid.
Jack Quaid.
Jack Quaid. Yeah, he's okay. He got all ripped and tatted up for this movie, which is strange. And I would have liked more exploration on his condition. Like the guy can't he can't eat solid foods because he might bite his own tongue off, So he like smoothies everything he eats, and
right.
He's got no pain. He doesn't experience pain, at all. And so of course
thing as well, because you never know if you're scratching your face just out of habit, you don't know if you're digging your nails in straight into your skin, do you?
Yeah, I mean it's the same thing when people are like paralyzed from the legs down. They might injure themselves, like cut themselves or something, and not realize they're bleeding everywhere. That's it's crazy. But yeah, the movie was a little it was a little predictable. It was a little try-hardy. The action scenes are okay. There is some twists and turns that, were a little redundant and unnecessary, involving because it's like a bunch of bank robbers. He works at a bank and he just started dating this cute teller, and bank robbers show up.
We're still talking about Last Breath, right?
No, I'm talking about Novocaine now.
Oh, shit. Hang on. I need to get different stills up, dude. Before you go on to Novocaine, sorry, because I was just grabbing other things while you were.
Yeah. Last Breath,
on.
I'd give it a big. I give it like a 6.5, 7 out of 10.
I just want to say I highly rate this actor, Joseph Atlin. You might have seen him in Game of Thrones. He was on Top of the Wall, so obviously he lives near Northern.
He's good.
He's a great actor. Mark Bonner is also in Last Breath. He's another British actor that's a really solid, good British character actor. Yeah, I imagine he plays one of the crew on the ship. But
yeah, his character was pretty...
That's the back of Mark Bonner's head, by the way.
Yeah, his character was pretty crucial in going and being able to rescue these people, because the boat needs to get operational again, and he's like bypassing certain wires and stuff to get it operational right away. It was pretty tense. It was really slow. It was funny because the movie's moving really slowly, but it's very fast-paced movie, even though like everything's moving like really slow. It's interesting. It's kind of like
Did you see
Sorcerer.
it at did you see it at the cinema?
No, we watched it at home.
I imagine it's great. I think this would be good on the big screen. This one.
Yeah, probably. Novocaine, however, probably better for home viewing because it was good, but I don't know. I don't know. It's kind of just like any of these other generic kind of Jason Statham style action movies, except the difference is, it's a wormy bank teller guy getting stabbed and burned and shot a bunch, and he gets pretty effed up, which is fun. But yeah, I imagine they're probably gonna do a sequel to it. This movie's got like that Nobody vibe.
Oh, is it? It's this actor again, Jack Quaid.
Yeah, he's good. He's good in it. And yeah, I saw a lot of criticisms like, oh, the wormy, the unmasculine action hero. And I'm like, yeah, but it kind of works in this movie because he's not totally. Because the thing is, because he has no pain. Like that's kind of like a big reveal as he takes his shirt off and he's freaking jacked. He's all muscular from working out and he's like covered in tattoos, which I guess is like cool because you're like, you have no pain. So just get all tatted up like a damn Yakuza guy or something. But yeah, the main, his buddy that he plays video games with from the Spider-Man movies was okay. Jack Nicholson's son, Ray Nicholson, is like the big bad bank robber. And the girl, she's a fine actress. I just think she should have been more eye candy. She wasn't. She was no Jennifer Lawrence. She's all right. She's the movie's got some fun moments and fun soundtrack and some good editing and camera work and stuff. But yeah, it wasn't a great movie, but it was a fun. We've got a whole. It's hard. What the hell?
Holding his own head.
It's got a good. In a sea of garbage, that we're getting. Mr. No Pain. Is that like an alternate movie title for that?
I guess that's an alternate title. Yeah.
Okay. I guess like maybe in some other, in Germany they don't call it Novocaine. Maybe they call it something else. Nathan Kane. He can't feel pain. Yeah, it was fun. I'd give this one more like a 6 out of 10. But it does have a rewatchability factor, unlike Last Breath, and definitely probably recommend watching it. You might like it, especially if you like big dumb action movies.
Okay.
But something else I really want to recommend, but I'll probably talk about it next week because there's one episode left. I've watched 8 out of 10 episodes. The 9th episode's already out. I'll watch that later, but next week, the 10th episode and final episodes comes out. It's Joe Bennett, who did one of my favorite shows last year, Scavenger's Reign. I know a lot of people didn't like that because it was very weird and out there.
I loved it. I thought it was great.
So he and Mike Judge are doing another animated show. It's on Adult Swim, so you can watch it on Max. And it could totally be an awesome live action movie. I don't know why they didn't do that. I guess they just like animation. But
and is this the one that one of the characters is based on you on the left here?
Yeah, it's called Common Side Effects. This show is awesome. It is so good. And I really hope that it doesn't end on a big cliffhanger. And I really hope this first season is a very well contained, full arc story. Because we only got 2 episodes left, and it's the plot is thickening, but it's basically this crazy weird guy finds a magic mushroom in Peru, I think, and it can cure anything. It can cure stab wounds and broken bones and skin diseases and Alzheimer's. It is the ultimate the cure-all. It is the tree of life basically. And it's all about pharmaceutical corruption in the pharmaceutical companies. And basically you've got pharmaceutical companies working under the government, working in tangent with the DEA, trying to basically hide this cure, kill this guy, stop this from getting out in any means necessary. And he partners with this young lady, friend he knows from high school, who works for one of these pharmaceutical companies. and how are we gonna replicate this mushroom and give it to the world. And you've got like crazy Southern meth heads that are after it, and DEA agents that are like unraveling this whole like conspiracy. You've got it's so amazing, and it's hilarious too. It's because Scavenger's Reign was very serious, and there was not a lot of levity. It was trippy and very it was cool.
Well, there was a lot of people being consumed by strange creatures' anuses, and
this show has a lot of really psychedelic stuff too. Because when you take the mushroom and you're being healed, like you go on this intense like psychedelic trip, and all that stuff is really wild.
I definitely feel this character is based on you.
Yeah, more so
have a
people
similar
that
hat?
I know, but yes. This guy's very
Maybe not so much in this picture.
yeah, he his name was I'm trying to remember his name is Cuso. I can't remember his first name, Marcus Cuso or something. His backstory is he won like $11 billion like playing like figuring out the algorithm for these scratch off tickets. And he bought a bunch of specific scratch off tickets from a bunch of specific convenience stores, and they tried to have him arrested, but what he did was totally legal. And using that $11 million, he's been going against. He's basically a hardcore Earth warrior hippie guy, but yeah, somewhere in his journey, he found this magic mushroom. And Mike Judge, he plays a few characters. He plays this like Southern town sheriff, or this like Southern like redneck sheriff guy, and he also plays the head of this farmer, or not the head, but like the vice president of this like pharmaceutical company. And he's hilarious. There's like a scene where he's they're very worried because they're probably going to get their job. They're probably going to get fired because the quarterly earnings are coming out and they're very low. And meanwhile, this assistant of his is like, hey, I think I got something, with this mushroom, just give me a chance and I can help us, make a ton of money. And he's like, my life is a nightmare right now. And he's like, my life is terrible. And he's like talking in like a bathrobe in a 5-star hotel, on the phone. And the door knocks. He's like, that's all great. Room service. It's the last thing I need, It's hilarious. It's very funny.
I'm all in. I'm gonna try and watch some of this before I go to bed.
Yeah, we'll probably do. I'll probably bring this up again next week, assuming the last episode airs by then.
What is your rating out of 10?
Dude, right now it's like a 9 out of 10, dude. I would say I liked Scavenger's Reign more just because how trippy and wild it is. But I think general audiences, I think most people are gonna like this a lot more than Scavenger's Reign. It has way more mass appeal. It is a very coherent story structure. And like I said, if this was a live action movie, I think it would have killed. I think it would have done really well, but I'm worried that they're probably trying to do a second and third season the way the first season's like. I don't see it wrapping up in another 40 minutes.
How many seasons are out thus far?
This is one season, and it's 20-minute episodes, and it's 10 episodes. So
okay.
So it's about like 200 minutes long. But what's crazy is like there's only 2 20-minute episodes left, so I can't imagine them wrapping up all the plot holes by then. So it's probably going to be a big cliffhanger show, which is going to be annoying because then I have to wait another year or two for the next season. But they better not do what Scavenger's Reign they did. They did dirty to Scavenger's Reign. They didn't renew it. They left us all hanging. So I hope that this show actually gets the attention it deserves. Probably try to watch it on Max if you can, so they can get the ratings.
Great, fantastic. Therefore, I think that's a strong recommendation to watch. Common Side Effects. We're going to move on. Got a couple more things to cover. Stupenzo, can you jump on that other thumbnail for me for that Joe guy, founder of Labyrinth? Because there's an urgency behind that for reasons I'll tell you later. Blue Collar Loser says, Lance, I'll be home in 7 minutes. How nice for you. Is that a personal record? Let's move on. So, Inside Man, what's your next choice?
My next choice, it's...
No, I've got the giggles this time. Sorry, go ahead.
My next choice is it's another Italian movie. It's a Poliziotteschi this time, also directed by Umberto Lenzi. This one is Brothers Till We Die, starring Thomas Melian.
Right.
It's
I think I've
he
heard of
kind
it.
of he reprises his role as the Hunchback character that he played in The Tough Ones. So it's a kind of
I thought the Hunchback got killed in The Tough Ones.
yeah. So there's kind of some weird sort of timeline errors because there are two other movies which also feature the same characters.
Right.
So, but in this one, he plays twins. So one brother is a hunchback, the other one is not. So he plays Vincenzo and his brother, whose nickname is Pigsty. And of course,
Vincenzo, good name.
yeah, Vincenzo.
That's my name.
He's one of his. So Pigsty works as a mechanic. It's kind of a little bit of a low-lifey character. And his brother returns. He's sort of on the run from the police, and he's got a job planned. He tries to sort of distance himself from his brother a little bit. They both have kind of have had issues with their parents growing up, and particularly their mother. But nonetheless, Vincenzo is planning this robbery with some Albanians, and they plan to double cross him and kill him during the robbery. But they don't quite kill him, and he comes back for revenge. Of course, in the meantime, the police are out to get Vincenzo, and a lot of madness ensues. It's an absolutely crackers movie.
I remember this scene with the drill.
Yeah. There is a drill.
There's a bank robbery scene in this one, isn't there?
Yeah. So yeah.
I've seen it.
Robbery scene, yeah. And of course, there's a fantastic scene in a nightclub, the dialogue for which was actually written by Thomas Melian. He wrote it sort of 5 minutes before going on set. And he has it's very much a product of its time because it was made during the years of lead, the Gli anni di Piombo era in Italy. And so there's kind of a little bit of politics in there.
What does that explain to our viewers? I know what it means, but what does explain to them what the era of lead?
So the years of lead, or Gli anni di Piombo, is it's a period in Italy's history where there was all kinds of political factions that were trying to lever their way into power. So we had the communists, we had the fascists, and the Christian Democrats. They were all trying to get into power. They're all legitimate parties, but what they did at the time, they would perform sort of acts of terror. So, basic terrorism, planting bombs. They had no regard for anybody whatsoever. And it was an era that I suppose officially started around about 1968 and went on to around about 1988, particularly in Rome. They would kidnap politicians. They would kidnap judges and lawyers and police chiefs and hold them to ransom. And one of them, they actually kidnapped the prime minister and killed him. They murdered the prime minister. So it was a very volatile and very violent time during Italy's history, and that's where a lot of these Poliziotteschi movies kind of shine a little bit of a light on the corruption. They do really tackle an awful lot of the problems that Italy had at the time, because in the meantime, you also had the mafia that were involved with the various factions. I mean, they weren't particularly discerning.
Yeah.
in terms of who they worked for or worked with. It was, if somebody paid them to do a job for them, they would do it. And I'm trying to remember the name of the Prime Minister. Aldo Moro. It was Aldo Moro who was kidnapped and murdered, and the Pope refused to intervene at the time. But it was a big thing, and these movies are very reflective of the years of lead in Italy, and that's why I think they're quite interesting historical pieces. I mean, they're quite outrageous in some of their plots and the action, but Umberto Lenzi was a fantastic action director. Apparently, an absolute bastard on set.
Yeah, I heard that.
Yeah, very maniacal kind of director. Very much in the school of I'm going to scream and shout until I get the result. But remember, they were under incredible time constraints when they were making these movies. The gialli and the spaghetti westerns in particular. And that's why even when they were in the Italian language, they were all dubbed anyway. They were still dubbed. The dialogue was still dubbed into the Italian language because they would shoot so fast. They had no regard for any background noise. So they would basically shoot sound on set. And it didn't matter whether there was traffic noise or planes overhead or, pneumatic drills going off in the background or anything like that. It didn't matter to them. They would just shoot.
Yeah, because they were going to redub it in Italian for the home audience and redub it in English for the international audience.
Yeah, precisely.
Yeah.
And many of these were European collaborations. So you had a lot of French, Italian collaborations, German, Italian collaborations, in particular Spanish, Italian collaborations. But I really like them. I got a real soft spot for these movies.
This is the scene where the bad guys get arrested for having an illegal picnic, which obviously was illegal in Italy during that time. The link for the whole movie is actually on YouTube. I've put it in the chat.
Oh, fantastic.
So if you fancy 2 hours of a Politeschi Italian crime caper, you can check this out. Or you can buy your own Blu-ray copy from 88 Films with all the special packaging and
I think it's 88 Films number 57 in the Italian collection. It's I mean, I know I've mentioned 88 Films and Radiance Films previously, but they really are very good. And if you just Google 88 Films, the site
they've got great stuff.
Radiance Films, they've got some amazing remastered Blu-rays, as well as UHD Blu-rays and 4K Blu-rays.
Okay, well, we're going to move on. Sorry, your time is up.
Okay.
But Northern picked out an absolute classic. I can't believe he only saw relatively recently, which is the original taking of Pelham 1, 2, 3. This was a movie. I mean, I should have put this in my book, actually, because Silver Screen Journey is available on Amazon now. This is a movie I very much remember the circumstances of watching this, which is that, it had that 30-second trailer on TV coming on this Saturday, and it was, lots of machine guns, and it all looked very exciting. And I was watching it, and it's not an action film. It's got action in it, but it's not an action movie. It's a really, really tense thriller, and I think this is one of the first times where I saw a film as a kid, but I really understood what good dialogue and what great performances were. And this movie has one of my favorite character actors of all time, who plays the hotel manager in Pretty Woman. He is still around.
Hector Lorenzo, isn't it?
I would love to interview him. Hector Alonso, he is such a good actor. If you see him in the film with Matt Dillon, the Flamingo Kid, that's such a great performance. They have such amazing chemistry. He completely steals the film Pretty Woman as the hotel manager who's kind of, you know, got a heart of gold, and he's good in this as well.
Yeah, he plays a very dark character, doesn't he? He's,
he
he's
does,
kind of
and this,
psychotic.
I mean, this was the first thing I saw him in. This was probably the first thing I saw Robert Shaw in, because I think I saw this before I saw Jaws, because I didn't see Jaws on initial release. I think I saw it around 79 when it was re-released.
Yeah, he's better in this than John Travolta was. John Travolta was a bit over the top, really. He was.
You're talking about the remake?
Yeah, he came across as someone losing.
Sorry, we don't discuss the remake here. I'm
No.
sorry, on this channel. No, we're not talking about that.
It takes its time, though, doesn't it? It gives
really
you a lot
does
of
take its
patience to
time.
absorb everything.
Yeah. Hold on a second. Blue collar loser is in
I've
the
had
house.
hair.
Oh.
I definitely don't wear headphones, you know, with a hat on.
Yeah. Okay, so we're just talking about the original Taking of Pelham 1, 2, 3.
There definitely wasn't a
Walter-
remake.
I mean, one of the other things I really love about this film is that Walter Matthau and Robert Shaw virtually don't share the screen, yet they are sharing the screen the whole time, because they're constantly in this conversation back and forth.
Yeah.
And I mean, they probably weren't talking to each other in reality. I think it's very unlikely that they would have been. Yet you really feel that they are. It's so well done.
Yeah.
And I love some of the things I really like about this movie. I like the aftermath of the robbery. Like, they've got this thing all really organized. He gets his bag out, you know, hats, gloves, mustaches. They've all got these disguises on. And then, of course, Hector Alonso doesn't want to give up his gun. I remember the line is, if I'm going out on the street and there are cops there, I want to have some heavy artillery. I think that's his line.
Yeah. And
Robert Shaw knows that he'll probably kick off and kill some people. That's why he kills him, because he's going to get them all arrested.
Yeah, and they think, fuck it, we might as well take his money. He's not going to need it.
Yeah. It's a great film. I've got the DVD of this. I was so blown away by this movie as a kid. I think this and Dog Day Afternoon have got a very similar kind of tense story structure with occasional small nuggets of comedy. They're kind of tonally, they're very similar movies. And I think I saw these two movies within the same couple of months. And they're both just great films. I mean, so Northern, it's your pick. Chip in and give it a rating out of 10 if you would.
Yeah, but like I said, it's got that really cool old school 1970s grittiness to it. Like, everything looks very dusty and unclean, and they've got problems with the mechanics, the electrics in the train station. So you know that they're not in the best. Things are really bad in this city. And I do like Robert Shaw's version better than the John Travolta one, because he's so calm, he's so collected. He looks like someone who's got everything under control. He comes across as someone who really has been planning this meticulously as well. And now he's got this Hector Alonso guy who's a bit of a loose cannon as well, and he's back talking him and everything. And Walter Matthau, while I liked Denzel Washington trying to do something different, Walter Matthau kind of just came across as a guy who just trying to do this job. He's just trying to run a tight ship where things aren't always going so well. I mean, he's just had these Japanese inspector bureaucrats guy around as well, and he accidentally insults them, and it turns out they actually do understand English, and he's sort of like a bit embarrassed as well.
But I do like Walter Matthau. I mean, he has that kind of a face like a walnut, and he has hair so black it has no right being on the head of a man that age.
I know, he's always looked old, hasn't he? I remember.
He's one of those actors that's always looked about the same age.
He does kind of have a face that looks like a failed experiment to me.
And it's a bit like Gene Wilder. Like, Gene Wilder kind of always looked about the same age for about 40 years, and then he got very old towards the beginning, but towards the end. Right, sorry.
The mayor is very funny as well, because he's really sick, and at the same time he has to look like he's doing something, even though he'd rather just be resting. And he is very funny, and he's not. I mean, I think James Gandolfini, they tried to portray him a little bit more humour, but here they kind of just this is a typical politician. He's obviously doing this to get his approval.
They never should have attempted a remake of this. It was a pointless exercise trying to remake this, set it in the current day. Just I mean,
just
rip it
doesn't
off
work.
and call it something else, but just it was an exercise in futility.
It just
Definitely
doesn't.
influence.
It just doesn't work as well with Tony Scott's directing because he's got this very cool, brash, sort of stylistic style, and it doesn't work in a setting where it's just a train carriage and that's it.
Yeah. I mean, we had that period, didn't we, where they were sort of remaking a lot of 70s classics like Shaft and Rollerball and this.
Mm.
And I think these are movies that absolutely did not warrant a remake. What I find quite interesting about this is that you can tell the influence on Tarantino, particularly with the Mr. Green, Mr. Brown, Mr. Blue, characters. And I love the score for this by David Shire, who incidentally, Lance, also did the score for Raid on Entebbe that we spoke about a couple of Sundays ago.
Ah, same guy. Yeah.
Brilliant score. Absolutely amazing soundtrack.
Yeah, I mean, it is, and all of the actors, including all the actors on the train in the movie, who most of them have a line here, a line there. They're all great. And I never forget the scene. Oh, of course, there's Julius Harris, who was in
Tee-hee,
Live and Let Die.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll never forget the scene where, the time's up. They haven't got the money. They're going to execute someone. And Robert Shaw is like determined to follow through. And the camera pans along the people. And you're kind of, as the viewer, you've kind of got to know all of them. And they've deliberately kept the conductor kind of obscure up to that part of the film. You met him at the beginning, and he's kind of been keeping his head down. And Robert Shaw notices that he's keeping his head down, and that's why he picks him and makes him walk down the track. And you think maybe they're going to let him go, and then he kills him. I mean, that's brilliant. That whole sequence is so well done. Yeah, I love this movie.
And it's surprisingly got a good sense of humor as well. It doesn't take itself too seriously.
There's some very funny moments.
Yeah.
What's your rating?
I give it a 9 out of 10.
I give it a 10.
Yeah, it's a 10 for me.
Absolute 10 for me. I don't think this film could be any better. Blue, have you seen it?
It's been a while, but I remember at least being a 9. It probably on a recent rewatch, probably would be a 10. It's been time since.
It's been a while. Okay, Enzo.
Now I'll check it out.
Okay, fantastic. I'm still doing thumbnails. Okay,
I sent you
right. Okay, cool. All right, I'll check that out. Check that out in just a second. Inside Man, what's your rating on this?
Easy 10. Yeah, it's one of my favorites. I mean, that I love movies of the 70s anyway, but this is. I love the photography in this, and it really does show you New York in 1974 or whatever it was.
We're being visited by all the beautiful ladies in the chat tonight. We've got Rachel Percy-Art, and we have Electric Goat as well. So,
I forgot to mention Jerry Stiller being on it as well. Jesus Christ, because I've just watched Seinfeld as well, and he still kind of is a bit of a wisecracker on this, but he plays it a bit more serious too.
This is Lee Wallace plays the mayor. This is him, isn't it?
Yeah, he's so funny in it. He
is good. He was actually a comedian, I think, as well in real life. Okay, that's the taking of Pelham 1 till 3. Now, as I've said, every Nielsen ratings until we run out of choices, we are going to talk about at least one Gene Hackman movie every week in honor of the late great actor, my favorite actor of all time, even exceeding my earlier favorite actor when I was a kid. When I was a kid, my favorite actor was Richard Burton. Richard Burton died in 1984, and I have to say that Gene Hackman superseded him in terms of the range and quality of work that he did. So Richard Burton unfortunately slipped into the number 2 spot and was then later superseded by Kevin Bacon. So Gene Hackman, the man who got me into the business. Gene, it's all your fault that I'm poor. But yes, Behind Enemy Lines, an interesting one. Came out in 2001. It's had many inferior sequels. Don't bother watching those. I do like this film, but I did have issues with it when I watched it. It's got these really great set pieces that sort of individually are really kind of cool sequences, cool scenes. But I didn't feel that the story, in terms of believability, hung together all that well. It felt like it was two different films. It felt like it was, on the one hand, making this big statement about the war. Is it in Kosovo or wherever it was? And then on the an ethnic cleansing. And there's an incredible scene where he falls into a pit of bodies and then ultimately hides himself in that pit. And this is it. And then, there's that pan out shot and you realize there's all these bodies in there. That is so well done. And then the rest of the movie is kind of like an action adventure chase scene. So it's got these two weird tones. It's like this action adventure movie, but it's also making quite a serious political statement about that war and how awful it was. And I'm not sure those two quite always mesh, but individually the different narratives are great. I'm just not sure that cohesively they work. This guy was terrifying, this sniper guy.
Yeah, Nico Bellic.
Yeah. I do recommend it though. I think it's worth watching. It's fun. I think it's actually available on one of the platforms at the moment. Don't know if that's Amazon or sure it certainly was available. Might have gone now. You do have these great sequences in it, but I'm not sure it quite hangs together as a movie. Other opinions, please. Blue, as you've come in late, I'll let you go first.
Yeah, great film, definitely.
Vexy is in the chat. Vex, if you want to pop in for a little bit, I'll send you the link.
Oh, great film. It'll definitely be on our Losers Lounge rewatch. I mean, so we have 1,000 films we're behind, but I said Clive Owen's good. I mean, I'm not Clive Owen. Can't think of his name right now.
Sorry, none of that appeared to make any sense. Are you talking about Enemy Lines, or are you just rambling and aiming?
No, say it's a great film. What's his name now? Owen Wilson. Wow, not Clive Owen.
Owen Wilson, not Clive Owen.
I know.
What are you talking about?
I just got home. No, it's a great film. So Gene Hackman's good. Like you said, the body scene when he's crawling.
That is a good sequence.
The way it's chameleoned, it's like holy shit, man. And
yeah. I think Owen Wilson's, he tried to get out of his wheelhouse for this one. He did all right. He's just got that weird face, But yeah, this movie does have some good comedy chops to it. Also, even though it's just mostly Owen Wilson running around the woods by himself.
Yeah,
but this was a fun one. I should probably give it a rewatch because I remember liking this one a lot. This one and it came out around the same time was Sniper Enemy at the Gates. I think was another one that came out.
Enemy at the Gates was a real missed opportunity. Although I may when I do my Stalingrad mega cut film, which is going to be similar to my Bridge Too Far movie, and I'm going to edit scenes from all the Stalingrad movies that exist, and there's about 9 of them.
This picture of Owen Wilson,
one movie. I'm going to take the sniper storyline from that film and put it in my Stalingrad mega cut.
I know Owen Wilson's not happy with his face in this poster. Like out of all that last one, I know the picture is like, that's the picture you're going to use of me on the cover of the movie. Come on, it's better. He had a short little haircut and what else?
That's his disappointed pizza face. That's like when he's ordered a really cool pizza. It sounds great. It arrives.
That is
not so good.
Yeah,
doesn't look so
not
good.
Non-wow. No wow there.
Wow pizza.
Wow.
Pizza reaction. That's similar to that's my face when Vex said I'm only here for a short while. That was my reaction.
What other action movies was Owen Wilson a part of? I mean, he was in
he did a couple of silly ones, didn't he? Sort of like
I Spy with Eddie Murphy as well, which was
No Escape. That was another one where he's running from riots or something. I can't remember.
Yeah, I think Pierce Brosnan.
Oh, he's in Armageddon. Yeah, I forgot he's in Armageddon.
Yeah, that's one of his first big roles. He kind of gets killed off.
Yeah.
Fairly early on in that.
Oh, Anaconda, he gets killed off in that one. Yeah, that was.
Yeah, the Jackie Chan films was Shanghai Nights and Shanghai.
That's the IP I was searching for.
Those weren't bad.
Oh, The Haunting. He gets killed in The Haunting. Yeah, he has a hilarious death scene in that one.
Yeah, that one was
Crashes was action packed. He also did The Big Bounce. I'm pretty sure that's a porno. But
Oh yeah,
okay.
Shanghai Noon and Shanghai Nights. Forgot about
Yeah.
those.
Yeah.
He's done a few action flicks. I want to say Behind Enemy Lines might be like one of his most serious movies besides No Escape.
I think if Gene Hackman hadn't been in this role and you'd had sort of average B-movie actor in that part, I think this film would be a 5 out of 6.
Yeah.
But Hackman definitely elevates this movie. And you're right, it's not his comfort zone. I thought he did okay, but it's not his comfort zone, this kind of film. But it was good that he did it though.
I remember when Owen Wilson got his ass kicked by Jim Carrey in that public restroom in Cable Guy.
Oh, yeah.
He's singing Salt Peanuts the whole time. He's beating him up. Can
you do that again?
Oh my god, watch the Cable Guy.
Salt
again.
Peanuts, Salt Peanuts.
So Behind Enemy Lines, anyone else want to give it a rating out of 10 quickly?
I mean, I like it. I don't love it.
Right.
Yeah.
6 out of 10, I'd say.
I mean,
we were in our defense, we were picking last minute Gene Hackman choice, and that was one that most of us had seen, so it got taken on. Okay. So guys, coming up, let's talk about what's coming up. So you're all going to be back tomorrow because, of course, you're going to be tuning in at 8 o'clock to check out this fantastic interview with my good friend Cameron Jack. And actually, how Cameron and I met was he produced, and if I remember rightly, directed, oh my God, the crazy film with Malcolm McDowell in with eyeballs and shit getting punctured. What movie is that again? Clockwork Orange. He produced Clockwork Orange on stage, and it was the first production of Clockwork Orange I had ever seen on stage, and Cameron directed it. That was how I got to see it, and how he put that together was off the back of starring in Queen We Will Rock You in one of the lead roles. He was in the West End for I think nearly 2 years or something, on and off, and I think he may well have toured with it around the world. And now he's gone on to do substantially more significant things in film and television, including he's got a very significant role in season 3 of The Wheel of Time, which I know my panelists are all huge fans of.
Oh.
So I've got to watch it tomorrow before the interview, so I'll be cramming it in.
Good luck on that.
Yeah, Cameron Jack is coming on tomorrow at 8 o'clock, and I may also be joined by the Inside Man on that one if he's available. Just in case I have any connection issues and shit like that.
Yeah.
Because I have still been having some connection issues. So Cameron Jack in tomorrow at 8 o'clock. On Sunday, we may well do a Chew the Fat special. Were we talking about doing that on Curb Your Enthusiasm? There was one other thing we talked about maybe doing that on. But I do want to do a Chew the Fat on Curb Your Enthusiasm, so we might do just might do a general Chew the Fat on Curb Your. That could be happening this Sunday at 8 o'clock. As soon as I get the thumbnail, that'll definitely be locked in and confirmed. But I also have another industry interview lined up next week as well, the following Wednesday. So with this amazing character. Now, normally when I talk to someone on the phone to confirm the interview, the conversation kind of goes like this. So, hi, really nice to meet you. Here's a little bit about the channel. Here's how it works. And great, let's get our diaries out and let's talk dates. Thanks very much. Look forward to seeing you. This conversation went something like, let me tell you a story. And 2 hours later, I was still on the phone with Joe Wezerak. Joe started The Labyrinth, which is an extremely well-known rave event in London in 1988. It is still going. I went to one of their events last year. They've got another one coming up in a few weeks. And he's also got a book coming out. He's also got a documentary coming out He's just been interviewed about, and he is the founder of. So he's one of the founding fathers of one of the biggest rave events in the UK. He has got a million stories. He's also, like me, adopted, and we were comparing notes on that. Yeah, this is going to be a really interesting interview. That is next Wednesday. So I've got one coming up this Wednesday and one the following Wednesday. And I've got a couple more founding fathers of the raves in the UK just getting back to me with dates. So we should be having a couple more of these with really big key figures. That's going to be really interesting, really exciting. This guy's guy, I can just tell this guy he's going to be on for more than 60 minutes. So yeah, got to plan that one accordingly. It's going to be a ton of fun. We will, of course, be back with the Nielsen ratings on Tuesday. Yeah, so let me hear from my other guests. Northern, you've got a special coming out on Life on the Road with Ricky Gervais. I've seen you got a few other things racked up. Tell us all about it.
Yeah, and this Friday I'll be discussing Millennium Actress with Stupenzolicious, and anyone else who wants to jump on. It's probably should have asked to put it on this show as well, because it is a very baffling but very charming, heartfelt movie about a fan and his favourite actress sort of connecting through her past, and this little sort of like desire to find some guy that she fell in love with years ago as a kid. It's really emotional but very funny at the same time.
And just remind us of the date and time of that, please.
7 o'clock UK time.
Phantasmagorical. Okay, and anything else, mate, you want to plug quickly?
I probably will do a little solo stream on the latest episode of Daredevil Reborn, and if I get chance, maybe the last episode of Reacher season 3, and hopefully it'll be better than the last week's episode.
That is something we were going to talk about today, but I think I'll put it off until next week once again. I have to say,
stream on it. Do a stream about it on it. About it. It's do a stream about Reacher season 3, and that's it.
Chew the fat. Well, we could do a chew the fat on it, but I normally tend to do chew the fat on things that I think are really good. Reacher season 3 has been pretty average for me. I think it's okay.
Great.
Yeah, it's okay. I do like Alan Ritchson. Is it Ritchson?
Yeah, it's still good. I liked Sonia Cassidy in it, even though her character is a little bit.
There's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with the acting. It just feels a bit middle of the road.
I agree.
Yeah, there's a few writing problems as well with the characters and their motivations as well, and
I think the acting is fine. The casting is mostly good. The kid is very annoying. I don't know. The story it just. I didn't like the jumping around of the timeline. That didn't really work, and it didn't really add anything. I mean, there was a bit of a twist, I suppose, but I don't know. It just feels very kind of meh. You know, seen it all before.
It's still the best. It is. The second series I didn't mind. It had its problems, but it was okay.
First season was really good. Second season, not bad, but not great. Third season, I mean, I haven't seen them all yet. I've only seen, I think, 5. Yeah. Yeah. Anyone else want to comment on Reacher before we sign off?
I do want to see how. I'll say I do want to see how he's going to fight Paulie. That's going to be a good ending.
Yeah,
what is that? Uncle Paulie from the Rocky film.
Yeah, because I remember he punched him once and didn't even hurt him. He's like, "Douche! Oh shit!" And Paulie just bitch smacked him one hit. I'm like, to bitch smack Reacher in one hit. That's a intimidating dude, man.
I do hope the final is better than the one on season 2, because they really wasted Robert Patrick and that British henchman guy as well. Who came across real cool, and he just kind of goes out like a bitch.
Well, I mean, it is Reacher. Stupenzo, do you have anything you want to recommend? And what is this link you sent me?
It's a funny video. It'll be a funny video for your Labyrinth guy interview.
Oh yeah,
he'll get a kick out of it. Yeah, I might stream tonight. Solo stream. Might watch some more Playing It Straight. That'll be fun. Around 10:30ish Central Standard Time, and then tomorrow, I guess we're gonna watch a movie on Blue Collar's channel. I got We watch premiering at 2:30 p.m. Central Standard Time tomorrow. It's going to be Spider-Man 2. Not the good one. The 1978 Spider-Man Strikes Back, made for TV movie.
Oh, that's Spider-Man Dragon's Challenge.
No, that's the third one.
Is that the third one?
The third one. Yeah, we'll watch that one later too. So yeah, we that'll be fun. And then I think after Spider-Man, I think we're gonna do a dinosaur or movie kick. We got Gargantua, Prehysteria, and Baby, Secret of the Lost Legend. So those will be fun.
Me and Inside Man both saw Spider-Man: The Dragon's Challenge and Cactus Jack at the cinema as a double bill.
Apparently those made-for-TV Spider-Man 70s movies were released theatrically in England, which is interesting.
They were.
I gotta say, part one was fun. The second one is not as good by a long shot, but the third one looks like it's going to be the best one. Dragon Challenge.
I vaguely recall the third one was
Dragon
fun.
Challenge has like the peak like disco soundtrack, which I'm excited for. The second one did not. The second one got rid of the disco soundtrack, which was a big misstep. But yeah, that's what I got coming up, and then Tales from the Dork Side, Monday midnight, Sunday night, Monday morning, whatever you want to call that. That's fun. We're going to be having some good times hanging out, watching weird crap.
Fantastic stuff. I've just seen a hilarious photograph of Sassy and Nadia going to the cinema together. So there you go. YouTubers do occasionally meet in reality.
Well, Nadia's feeling better. She was sick for a while.
Yeah, well, that's glad to hear that she's doing well. And Nadia's got a kind of horror thing going on. Do check out her channel. Critical Drinker has just done a Drinker's Extra Shots on Novocaine. Says it's a pretty good movie.
Oh, really?
People are saying it's the shortest review ever.
It's only 3 minutes long because a film like that doesn't need a long review.
No, there you go.
Yeah.
So, also, it looks quite likely that the Horizon Post Office scandal play False Accounts, which I wrote and directed, will be going ahead again in Birmingham later this year. So I know Inside Man will be organising a special YouTubers trip to come along and see it. There'll be a meet up in a pub, which again he'll be organising. So it would be great to see support for this very, very important story. If you don't know about it, just Google Horizon Post Office scandal. It is the biggest miscarriage of justice in British history. We will be taking it on again later this year with a slightly revised and updated script with a lot of new bits and things in to keep it as up to date as possible. I will tell you more about that when everything is locked in. But again, if you search it on Twitter, you will see all kinds of stories about it. And this really is a terrible, terrible travesty. And people are still waiting for their compensation. So I will keep going at it until they're given it. I think that's probably it from us. Did anyone else want to plug anything? Are we good? I think everyone plugged, right? Everyone plugged this.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, great. Thanks. So I appreciate new people being in the chat. We've had a few new characters in tonight. It's always nice to see new people. Again, also big shout out to all the regulars, especially Rachel Percy-Art, who's coming on the channel before the end of April to talk about her art. She may or may not be on camera, I suspect, possibly off. And don't worry, I'll get the electric goat to come in and be my co-host, so you won't be the only female on that industry interview. Yep, so more stuff to come. Don't forget to tune in tomorrow at 8 o'clock. Cameron Jack is a good friend of mine. He's a wonderful guest. He's always got his own stuff going on. And of course, we won't just be talking about Wheel of Time, which I'll be cramming in tomorrow. Can't wait. So yeah, that's it from us. Don't forget what I always say. Do check on the people that you care about. Tell them that you love them. We do live in rather strange and difficult times. And don't I know it? All right. See you soon.
And the outcast crew. jam today.